Welcome to Evelyn Colors. Today I am sharing with you all of the pages that I completed in April and May. Are you ready? Let's get to it. Let's go. The first couple of pages that I have to share with you are from A Million Mermaids by Lulu Mayo. I colored this page using Kawaii art brush tip markers, and for the background I used pastel chalk. Just kind of scrape the chalk off and smooth it around for the background, and this is it here. I completed this page in May. The next page that I colored in here is this one, and I used Staedtler colored pencils and also the Sharpie Creative markers to do a little bit of outlining here. That's silver. It's kind of hard to see that the little horns are silver. Yeah. So that is it for A Million Mermaids by Lulu Mayo. The next couple of pages that I colored are from the Dogwood Stay at a Cabin by Melissa Wingo. I colored the This Book Belongs To page. I used alcohol markers for this one, and I colored this in May. I didn't get a chance to color this or this on the back because if I use alcohol markers, it's going to bleed through. I'm saving this page to color with colored pencils or something that I know won't bleed through. The next page that I colored here with alcohol markers is this page. Mrs. Dogwood is packing up for the trip. Alcohol markers. And this page, they are loading up the car, and I also used alcohol markers on this page. And that is it. Those were the 3 pages that I colored in the Dogwood Stay at a Cabin. Up next, I have 2 pages that I colored in Bobby Good's coloring book. And here it is. I colored this one using Artist Loft alcohol markers, and I also colored it in May. If I had to do this all over again, I would make this a little bit more brighter. It's not bright enough for me, but it is what it is. I like it either way. The next page is this page, and I used, I believe, mandala markers. Yeah, mandala alcohol markers for this one. I like how this turned out, even though I kind of have some little errors in places, but overall I really like how this turned out, and I also enjoyed coloring this page. It's such a cute page. And those were all the pages that I colored in Bobby Good's coloring book. I colored both of these pages in May. That's it for Bobby Goods. Up next, I have a few pages that I colored in Be Grateful in Color by Angela Porter. This is the first page here. This one has a mixture of media. So I colored this in May. I used markers, colored pencils, and some polychromos. So I used different brands of stuff on this page here. Next, I completed this page, and I used markers. I didn't write it down, I don't think. Yes, I did. Yeah, I colored this one in April, and I used Stabilo markers. The last page that I have in here is this page. This is a buddy color that I did with Sherry Dinowich, and I will put her picture over here. When we do buddy colors, we don't talk about what colors we're going to use. We just color, right? So hers look like it's an overcast, where mine's looks like it's a bright day. So, you know, you can kind of detect that in the photos or the pages that we completed. I had an issue with trying to color this because I'm not one who colors little doodling type of things when it comes to illustrations. I'm learning. That's something I want to get into more. Sherry finished hers and she shared it with me, and it helped me a lot as far as how to color it. I use Castle Art color pencils. I use my Sharpie Creative markers, and I also used a Posca pen in some places. Thank you, Sherry, for buddy coloring with me. It was a lot of fun. It's always fun to buddy color with you. And those are the pages that I colored in Be Grateful and Color. Up next, I have a few pages that I colored in Simplicity. And most of you have already seen these because I've already shown them before, but I will show them again. I sure will. Now, this is the This Book Belongs To page. I used the Artisto pencils on this page here. And I colored this, I believe, in April. The next page that I have is this one. I also used Artisto pencil for this, and I colored this in April. Hessian pink colored pencils, and also colored in April. Color macaron, or the pastel pencils, April, I believe. Next, same pencils, color pencils, macaron, pastel pencils, colored in April. This one I colored in April using twistable Crayola colored pencils. This one I colored in May using alcohol markers. And then this one I also colored in May using, I believe, alcohol markers. Yeah, I don't know which brand. It looks like I also used Sharpie Creative markers in some places. The little lines on the mountains and area here on the cactus and on the van here. Those are all the pages that I colored in Simplicity 3. Now I'm back to mermaids. And these pages that I'm going to show you that have mermaid pages completed, I colored them in May. I think I only did one page in this book. And this is the page. I used alcohol markers, and I also used my pastel chalk to do the background here. And some type of marker here. I don't really know which marker I used to try to make it look like there is motion in certain areas. And that's all I colored in the Fairy Tale Coloring Book by Andrea, I believe, Andrea George. Up next, I have a few pages that I colored in International Mermaid Coloring Book, also by Andrea George. This is the first page in here that I have completed. And this I used Stabilo markers, also the Sharpie Creative markers. I didn't do a background on this one. And I didn't do a background on this one either. For this one, I used alcohol markers. And the last one I completed in here is this one. I colored this one on Live with Mrs. Southern Belle. I used Artisto pencils, and then I switched over to Color pencils. I did the background with the pastel chalk. And that is all I colored in International Mermaids by Andrea George of Ruby Publishing. Up next, I colored a few pages in Cozy Spaces by Coco. I recently put up a flip through, and if you want to see that flip through, I'll link it up here in the cards and also in the description box. This is the first page that I completed using Artist Loft alcohol markers. This is how it looks. The next page I have completed is this one, the bakery one. And I used Cali Art alcohol markers. I colored both of these pages in May. And that is all I colored in Cozy Spaces by Coco. Up next, I have a few pages that I completed in the Steampunk, well, the Colorful World of Steampunk by Color It, coloring book company. But of course, they have their own illustrators. The illustrator for this book, I don't know who it is, but I'll put it on the screen just in case you want to know that. I do believe I colored this probably in April using alcohol markers. I colored this one. I completed this in May 2024. Artist Loft alcohol markers. And the last page that I completed in here, I used colored pencils. And it is this page here. I used the Color macaron or pastel colored pencils for this one. I was just trying to think outside the box. I didn't want to use the traditional colors and color it the way that I've seen Steampunk colored. So I just wanted to do something a little bit different here. And that is all I colored in this book here. I did start a page, and if I can find it, I will show it to you. I just started the background. Here it is. I'm flipping all the way through. The illustrator is Hasbi Mubarak, okay, right here. And this is the page I started. I did the background, but I have not completed the page. So maybe that'll be done for June. Those are all the pages that I completed in the colorful world of steampunk. Up next, I completed 2 pages from R.J. Hampson's A Frog's Tale. I believe I completed these in April. The first page that I have here is this one. I actually colored this one in a video, and I know I used colored pencils. I think I used the Staedtler colored pencils and a Posca pen. The background is pastel chalk. And I completed this one in April. The next page I have here, I also completed this one in April. I used watercolor on this one, and I did not protect the page or anything, but I used watercolor pencils, and I also used Stabilo markers. I think it turned out pretty good, actually. I really do. And I also used, in some areas, I think I used a gel pen, silver. Either a silver gel pen or silver, no, it wasn't a silver gel pen. It was a metallic marker from Stabilo around the framing area here. So this is how it looks. I had fun coloring this because I was using my watercolor color pencils. I think I used the Staedtler Luna watercolor color pencils. That's that one. And then the last one that I completed in this book is this page. And I completed this one in April using the Artisto colored pencils here. I enjoyed coloring this. I didn't do a background. I just focused on the illustration. And that is all I colored in A Frog's Tale by R.J. Hampson. The next page that I have to share with you is one from this book called Happy Easter. This is a book I bought from my local drugstore. And this is the page. I completed this in April. I started this on live stream actually. I did the background with my pastel chalk that I have, and I use colored pencils. The color pencils that I used the Faber-Castell Black Edition and my Sharpie Creative markers in some areas. That's all I colored in here. It looks like I had another page that I wanted to color, but I didn't color anything else in here. I might color this for June. This is the only page that I colored in this book for April. Up next, I colored 2 pages in the Tales from Atlantis by Hannah Carlson. First page is this page here. And I used, I believe, Caran d'Ache Pablo colored pencils. Yeah. And a little bit of Posca pen in some areas. I don't have a large selection of Caran d'Ache Pablo. I just used what I had and I made it work the best way I know. The next page is one here that I worked on live stream as well as in a video showing you how to protect the page. This is okay, you know. I think I could do it better, but this is it here. I use Faber-Castell colored pencils. I use my Sharpie Creative markers. I use water paint for the background and inside of the circle. And I think that's all I used. Yeah, and a Posca pen. So that's it here, and that's all I colored in Tales from Atlantis. Up next, I have 2 pages that I completed in the Johanna Basford's World of Flowers. This page here, I completed this one, and I used my Color color pencils for this one. Now on this page, it should be a page that looks like this one, but I think when I disc binded it, I got off track with my pages. But nevertheless, it's all good because I have a second copy of World of Flowers. No sweat, my pet, as they say. The second page that I have that I colored is this one here, and I used the Color Macaron or the pastel color pencils for this one. And that is it. I did not do a background for either one of the pages. Yeah, I think that this page is supposed to be over here, but nevertheless, it's all good. Those were the two pages that I colored from the World of Flowers, and I completed these pages in May, I believe. Yeah, both completed in May. Johanna Basford's World of Flowers. Up next, I have a few pages that I completed in A Million Kawaii Cuties by Lulu Mayo. This little book is probably the first book that I attempted to disc bind, so it's not the best. This is the page here. I used colored pencils, Caran d'Ache Pablo, and also for the background, I used the Sharpie Creative markers. I had fun coloring this. I think it turned out pretty cute. Okay. Next page that I completed is a double page spread, and I used the Staedtler colored pencils for this page, as well as the Sharpie Creative markers for the floor. I just came up with making the floor a little bit different, and that's what I did here with the Sharpie Creative markers. Those are the only pages that I colored in A Million Kawaii Cuties by Lulu Mayo. Up next, I colored a few pages in Spooky coloring book by Sarah Sejawishigi. Here it is right here. Sezawich. Anyway, that's her name right there. Here are the pages that I completed. Now, I started coloring this page on a live stream, and I can't remember what I used. So I used Color color pencils and a Posca pen, and I completed this page in April. The next page, however, this is the page I experimented with using Hemi gouache, and I completed this page in May. I used Hemi gouache, Castle Arts gold color pencils, and a Posca pen or Posca pens. The Hemi gouache is the background here, all of this here. The cat is Hemi gouache, the cup, the little thing that's in the cup, little ghost, that's Hemi gouache. The witch hat, Hemi gouache, all of that's Hemi gouache. And also the frame or the border of these picture frames, they are also Hemi gouache. Inside of this is Hemi gouache. Everything else starting here, colored pencils, Castle Arts gold, right in here. Now, you can see some texture here. I'm going to zoom you in so you can see what I'm talking about. You can see texture here on the table. I didn't do that intentionally. I think that came from the brush that I used to protect the page so that the paint wouldn't go through. But that's what happened. I think it was the brush. I know it was the brush that gave it this appearance. Now, this is the page that I protected with the satin glazing. Is it liquid? And I didn't dry it with the dryer or anything. I just let it sit out for a couple of days before I got around to painting it. And that's it here. I think it turned out pretty good. Oh, I forgot to mention that the creatures inside the picture frames, let me zoom you back in. I use colored pencils in here. The Castle Art Gold colored pencils. That is it for Spooky. Up next, I have a few, I wouldn't say full pages because I was practicing and playing around with Gamasol in this book. And I did two things in here. I believe some of you have already seen this. I've shared it in a live stream, I believe. Maybe on my community tab, I can't remember. But this is one that I colored in here using polychromos and a white Sharpie Creative marker. This is the first thing or first illustration that I used Gamasol on. I learned how to use it. Miss Sherry had given me some good instructions and directions on how to use it. And this is when I first started experimenting with it. Well, it's not my first time experimenting with it, but this is my first time experimenting with it, doing it the right way. I think it turned out pretty good. And then I was happy about it, so I moved on to the This Book Belongs To page, and I also did it on this page. I used gel pens here. This is all colored pencils. I think I used Faber-Castell polychromos here. Yeah. And this is also where I experimented and played around with Gamma here. And I kind of got the hang of it, as you will see going forward in some of my other pages. Those are the only two illustrations I colored in Grains of Gold, illustrated by Hannah Carlson. Finally, I have gotten to the Mythographic books. I have 2 pages that I completed in the Mythographic aviary. There is one page in here that I did not get around to. It is a collaboration with Bubbles, and I need to go over when I get ready to do that specific page and watch her video so I can get an idea on how to do it. This is one of my pages. Let me tone this light down some for you. And I'm going to zoom in. I am very proud of this page. I really, really am. It turned out better than I thought it would. Yeah, I really like this page. Now, this is the page that I really experimented with using Gamma to kind of blend stuff in. I even used Gamma on the face here and the birds. I use it almost everywhere. I completed this page in May, and I used Staedtler colored pencils. I'm also like amazed at how well this turned out with the Staedtler colored pencils. Yeah, very, very nice. The next page that I completed is this one, and I used for the background my Sharpie creative markers. I think I started this actually in April, the background. And I used Artix colored pencils. I used a gel pen here, silver. The rest is colored pencils, with the exception of the background here and the little silver stuff on the teapot. Those are all the pages that I colored in Mythographic Aviary by Joseph Catambain, one of my favorites. I completed one page in the Mythographic Fairy Wonderland, and it is this one here. I really had fun coloring this. The background I did with the Sharpie Creative markers, the brush tip marker, and also I used the pen to outline certain things. Colored pencils, let's see what I used. I used the Color colored pencils, a Posca pen, and Uniball Signal gold and silver gel pens. So this is how it looks. And I also use Gamma in certain areas. I think I use Gamma on most of this, not everything, but most of the illustration I did use Gamma like on the petals here, the skin. Where else did I use it? Background that I had here, the yellow background. I didn't do too much Gamma in these little areas here. I used it on the flowers a little bit. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. This was a May completed page. That's all I colored in Fairy Wonderland, illustrated by Fabiano Astonasio. Up next, I have a few pages that I completed in the Mindful Mandalas by Jane Sneeden Peaver, I believe. I completed this one using Stabilo markers here. And I also completed this one here using Stabilo markers. I completed this page in April actually. And I completed this one in April. Also, I used the Hessian pink colored pencils for this one. And then I started on one here and I stopped. That's all I completed in this book, Mindful Mandalas by Jane Peaver. Up next, I have 2 pages that I completed in Enchanted Earth by Melpa Minnie. I haven't said her name in so long. This is one of the pages, and I'm going to zoom in so you can get a better look at it. There we go. Okay, this one is one that I kind of found another picture on, not kind of, I did. I found several pictures that were completed on Instagram to kind of help me with how to color this, because I didn't know how to color this page. But I ended up doing pretty good, picking a few colors and sticking with the colors. Some things got a little messed up, but overall I think this turned out very, very well. I'm very pleased with this page. And I used Arctic's colored pencils, and I completed this in May. I also used Posca pen, and I guess I alternated between a Posca pen and the Creative Marker by Sharpie. I mainly used the white pens to outline certain areas. I didn't do it everywhere, but I did do it. The next page that I completed is this page, and I used Faber-Castell Polychromos for this one. And I think that's all I used, and I completed this page in May. Very proud of this page. When I first looked at the page, I had no idea how to color it. Again, I took to Instagram to look to find some other completed pages, and I found some which kind of gave me an idea of how to color it. But I think it turned out pretty good. That's all I colored in Enchanted Earth by Mel Pomini. And I believe this is the last one, but I do have a couple of more books to talk to you about, show you some things in. But this is Nature Mandalas by Mel Pomini, and I actually did a buddy color in here with Sherry Dinowich. We did this one, and I'm gonna pop her picture up here so you can see hers as well. I completed this page in April, and I used Tombow markers. That's what I used for this one. I am pleased with how this turned out. I like the way it looks, even though it kind of looks a little dark and gloomy to me, but it still is cute. You know, if I had to do it all over again, I would make it brighter. But overall, I'm very pleased with how this turned out. And check out Sherry's over here on the left here. Okay. That is all of the pages that I colored in April and also in May. Now, I have something else to show you that I started, and then I will be out of your hair. This book. Now, this book is a doodles type of book. I don't know how I feel about those types of books. I'm trying to warm up to that, and I actually do like the art. So if I like something, I need to color it, right? So I started coloring in this book, and I said, well, let me do this part. And I started this with some other colored pencils. I wasn't feeling those pencils on this paper. Then I said, well, let me try another pencil here, and I can't even remember what I used. I'm thinking it was Faber-Castell Polychromos. I actually think they were okay. So I didn't finish this page, but I did color that one little piece there. And I started on this bird here, which I will complete for June. I'm getting the hang of it. You know, when I look at this picture, I'm like, okay, I can do this. I just have to remember that I don't have to color every little item a different color. I can color it as a group, but not an individual color. Just like I did with Sherry and the buddy color, Be Grateful color, something like that, that book. I was having a hard time because I'm not used to coloring illustrations that have little doodles in them, but I'm getting there. I'm getting better. I hope to complete this page for June. I just want to show you that I started it. And also with Kirby Rosanes, his Alien Worlds, I didn't get to it, but that's a project that I'm working on, an ongoing project. Those are all the pages that I colored in April and May. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the comment section below. And also, if you have questions about the books, I also list the books in the description box as well. So if you want to check them out, you can. Until next time, keep coloring. Bye.